this week I would like to talk to you about 60-second presentations and how you can make them a little bit better. It should really be Zoe doing this because she wins the 60-second presentation award every other week, but you're stuck with me. Now, before I do this, I would say I did go through this several times in my head yesterday. It shows these things are planned, I don't just make them up. And it came up at about 10-15 minutes. So I thought, I can't do that. So what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, I'm going to split it into two parts. Next week, I'm going to give you specific things you can do to improve your 60 seconds. Whereas this week, I'm going to look at the BNI way of doing it and how I would do it a little bit differently to that. Right. Firstly, if you've been on BNI trainings or you've seen the leaflets they hand out, the booklets, there's a structure to 60 seconds that BNI recommends. Now, this structure has very specific slots of what you should say, and it even gives guidelines on how long you should say it. It can vary. There's different examples of this. You can take bits out, you can put bits in, but by and large, there is a structure to it. So the first part, for example, is you say your name and the name of your company. Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm from Henry R. Davis. Now, the next bit, you go on to say what you do and some of the products and services you have. I'm an accountant, and I help people with their tax returns, their self-assessment, and their VAT returns. You then go on to say how your products can benefit a client, or you tell a story. We make sure that people pay the right amount of tax, not too much, not too little, so they don't get in trouble and they don't overpay. You then say what you're looking for. This week, I'm looking for married men over 50. She does like that one. You then go on to say why people can refer you with confidence. You can refer me with confidence because I won't allow you to claim for anything I wouldn't be happy to defend the HMRC. That shows the honesty. You then go on to say your name and your business again. Hi, I'm Zoe, Henry R. Davis. Finally, you have your memory hook. Now, Zoe doesn't use memory hook. Now, let's take that apart. Firstly, your name and your business. Do you really need to be saying that? You think it's important?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're sat in the same room as everybody and there are no visitors, no guests, do you need to say your name every week and the name of your business?
If no visitors, probably no.
I'll be honest with you, it doesn't do any harm. It doesn't do any harm to remind people of what your name is, what the name of your business is. We still get people calling us Engaged Web or Engage. So reminding people isn't a bad thing. If there are visitors or subs in the room, or if you're delivering a training, or if you're visiting another chapter, of course you say your name and the name of your business. Of course you do. It's ridiculous to think you didn't. But if you start with the same thing every week, everybody stands up and says, this is my name of my business. Mick's heard all this every week. Mick can tune out for those first 10 seconds of your 60 seconds. Mick can be thinking, oh, what's for tea tonight? But it's chips. I hope it's chips. And then he's back in the room. You've turned your 60 seconds into a 50 seconds. So again, there's no harm in saying it, but you don't need to do it right at the beginning. Change the structure. The next bit is, I'm an accountant, and I do this, and I do that. Do you need to say what your category is? It's written on your badge, assuming everybody's wearing a badge. It's written on the BNI sheet. Looking a bit sheepish there. It's written on the BNI sheet. If your 60 seconds is any good when you're telling people what you do and why you do it and what you're looking for, they'll work out that you're an accountant. You don't need to waste time saying, I am an accountant, and this is what I do. Chris Meacock, who's not here today, he's never even on pick on him, doesn't say, I'm a mechanic. He's not a mechanic. He helps people, he rescues people stranded at the side of the road. Chris Chan is not a personal trainer. He gives people the belief that they can get the body that they want. You can have that one, Chris. You then go on to say, this is why my products or services benefit a client, or you tell a story. This is the first part of the BNI structure that I think is absolutely essential. You need to say why you do what you do and tell a story. If Rachel stood up every week and said, I'm a wills and probate lawyer, I'm a wills and probate lawyer, I'm a wills and probate lawyer, I'd think, I've got a will. The only way I'd be able to find her a referral is if somebody said to me, do you know a wills and probate lawyer? Oh, hang on. Yeah, I do. But Rachel doesn't do that. Rachel stands up every week and tells these really horrific, vivid stories of when wills go horribly wrong, when something has been written in suspicious circumstances, when a will is contested, when a will has been found on a crisp packet. And by these stories, I've actually listened to one of these stories and thought, gee, I know somebody in that position. And it was me. actually. And I wouldn't have thought that if she just said, I wasn't covered by it. The stories are absolutely essential. You then move on next to say, this is what I'm looking for this week. Again, this is the second part that I think is absolutely essential. If you don't tell people what you're looking for, how are they going to find it for you? If when you've delivered your 60 seconds, nobody is writing something down, then either they don't care, or you haven't given them something to write down. This is your sales force. Make certain you ask for something specific. It doesn't have to be the name of a person. It doesn't have to be the name of a company. Give the other members of the chapter something to do every week. You then move on to say, this is why you can refer me with confidence. Do you need to say, this is why you can refer me with confidence? You can refer me with confidence because. You've just wasted another 5 seconds. If your story is good, you've given people a reason why they can refer you with confidence. Again, I'll pick on Chris Meacock, because he's not here. When Chris gives his 60 seconds, he talks about going off to pick up somebody from the side of the road at 2 a.m. in Didcot Parkway. How many mechanics do you know that will do that? That's why you can refer him with confidence. Chris Chan, who is here, you can refer him with confidence because he's been where everybody else is today. He's been where his clients are. He's been overweight. He's had that battle to get down. He knows what it takes. Well, everybody except James Hamilton, of course, who has never had a BMI over 20. You then say your name again, and the name of your company. Now, this is the part where I think at the end, you should be saying it, not at the beginning. If you meet 15 people in a room and they all introduce themselves, how many names do you remember? I don't remember any. I don't even know how few people are now. And if you meet somebody in a room and they say your name and they introduce themselves, then they start to tell you something that you think, oh, that's really good. I wish I'd remembered what your name was. Wouldn't it be better if they said it at the end? So that when all these 15, 20 people stand up and say something they're looking for or something that they do, you think, oh, it's brilliant. Now they said the name, fantastic. I remember that one. I'm going to make an effort to. I'm going to write something down. Finally, you go on to the memory hook. Now, there are a couple of people in the chapter that love a memory hook. I have nothing against it myself. However, I was at the BNI conference in Bolton, Reebok Stadium, a couple of years ago, where Ivan Meisner was there, and he was stood on the stage, and a very, very enthusiastic BNI member went, Ivan, what's the best memory hook you've ever heard? Thinking, oh, I'm going to get a cracking one now. And all the people that use memory hooks were like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be brilliant. And Ivan went, I wish I'd never invented the memory hook. And you could literally hear their dreams and aspirations dying. And he gave a couple of reasons why he wished he'd never invented the memory hook, but here's one of my favourites. If you've got a really good memory hook, and you use it every week in the same chapter, and it's the kind of memory hook that other people join in with, what do you think the other members in the chapter are thinking of as you get to 40, 45 seconds in to your 60 seconds? The bit when you're telling them what you're looking for and they should be writing it down. Do you think they're writing it down? Or are they thinking, here comes the audience participation time. Or getting ready to shout out what you say every week. Now, as I said, those are my observations on the BNI 60-second structure. You may disagree with them. You may disagree with them. These are for you to think about. I will leave you with those. Next week, I will give you specifics on things you can do.